A lot of us think that being emotionally healthy means never being triggered, never feeling sad, never feeling down, only feeling even keeled or happy or joyful all the time. And that's simply not the case. And in fact, this belief is hurting our health. I want to talk about emotional regulation and balanced emotional health today because I think we are living in a society right now where everyone's using this therapy speak to talk about being regulated and being emotionally healthy. And we are using it as sort of a misnomer for always like toxic positivity and always being happy. So, to me, and what I have experienced is that being emotionally healthy is not about never being triggered. It's not about never being sad or angry or nothing ever bothering you, like living the unbothered life. It's really about how you respond to those situations. So, for example, I would say maybe 10 or 15 years ago, my baseline living was like probably like a level 7 or 8. Like I was highly anxious all the time. I was emotionally unhealthy. So things could take me to a 10 very quickly. And then I would not get back down to an 8, which is also still unhealthy, for weeks at a time. This looks like something happens at work that really bothers you. Nothing like that would necessitate you quitting or necessitate legal action, but it bothered you. And you're thinking about it for months on end instead of re-regulating yourself and getting back down to maybe a level 5 or a 3 as your baseline. Now, for me, I had to do two things. I had to work on my emotional health, meaning bringing myself from stop living life at a level 8, which is a stressful life, back down to like a level 3 so that my baseline emotions were at a level 3. And level 3 indicates that I'm not anxious, I'm aware, I'm not at a 0 like some of my kids are who are on antidepressants. Some of them are at a 0. I'm at a 3, so I'm alert, I can think clearly, I can see clearly, but I'm not anxious, I'm not angry, and I'm not easily triggered. So that was the first step, and I recommend this for you too, is to really work on getting your baseline down. So I talked about earlier, like your metronome being like super fast. Like I used to have that where I was like, everything was like anxious and right? And then I was like, okay, maybe I should live my life like this, right? Where I want this to be my baseline. And so that's where I am. And so when something happens to me in life, number one, because I've worked on my own self-esteem and because I've worked on my own sense of self and being confident in my sense of self, I don't let things take me to a 10 very often. But if they do, I know how to get myself back down to a 3 very quickly if I need to. And that doesn't involve like eating, smoking, drinking, sex, like none of that. It just involves me working through those problems. And I think what we have lied to ourselves about is that being emotionally healthy means that you never go to a 10. I'm sorry, but if someone disrespects me blatantly and says something foul to me or tries to cheat or steal or lie for me, yeah, I'm gonna go to a level 10. I am. But the difference is that I'm gonna go back down to a level 3 rather quickly, maybe in 48 hours or so. And so one thing that I think is toxic about this mentality is that we've come to believe that being emotionally healthy means that life has to be good all the time and we have to feel good all the time. And that if we don't feel all good all the time, then something's wrong with us. But you were made to feel. And I know, especially in like Christian circles, this is something that we hate to say, but you were quite literally made to have feeling. You're sentient. In a lot of ways, you're more sentient than, the wild animals. That's what makes you, part of what makes you human is that you are sentient. You have a conscience. You have a sense of right and wrong. You have a sense of morality. And part of that involves having emotions. And because I think a lot of us are striving to be emotionally regulated, we're like, why did I get so upset? Well, because someone wronged you. Because life is not exactly the way you want it right now. It's okay that you don't feel 100% solid all the time. And it's that we're seeking this baseline of never feeling triggered, never feeling negative, never feeling bad. But that's not life. One of the things that someone told me, one of my students actually, she was coming off of antidepressants, and she said, I didn't like how I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't be genuinely happy, and I couldn't be genuinely sad. And I said, yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're talking with your doctor about this, but yeah, we're supposed to have the ups and downs. Now, as one of the great coaches says, don't let your highs get too high and your lows get too low. But emotional regulation is not about never being triggered. It's about how you bounce back after being triggered. How do you bring your nervous system back into baseline? How do you bring your nervous system back into a calm state? There's several ways that you can do this. For me, it's always like going for a walk, taking a deep breath, taking a hot shower. Sometimes talking about it helps. And then lastly, I have a journal that I write in, that I write about what really is bothering me. What's the belief? If something makes me upset, what am I believing about myself or that other person? Or what do I think that other person believes about me? Or what does the situation say about me that's making me upset? And is it true or not? And then I can bring myself back down to baseline. But the purpose of this video is to remind you that being emotionally regulated is not about never feeling anything. And in fact, if you don't feel anything, I'm concerned for you. I want you to feel, you should be angry when things happen sometimes. You should be sad when you see the state of affairs around the world. Like, you should feel those things. Some people will say things like, oh, you're just going through something. No, I'm a human. I'm a human, and I wish you would be human too. We are walking around like zombies. And I would say, purposefully so, but a lot of us are walking around like zombies, never completely feeling both the immense joy and the low, the disaster, the sense of loss, because we're living in numbness. So when you're seeking emotional regulation, seek to be able to move through your emotions. The reason why this affects your health so much, honestly, is that usually people who do not feel all of their feelings tend to, number one, be very sick, because the body keeps the score. So the stress will break down the body, and then you're sick all the time. You have back pains, you're sore, they're overweight, because again, they're trying to stuff down the feelings instead of work through them, right? They're like, I'm not supposed to feel angry. I'm not supposed to feel sad. Let me end this emotion with food. They're alcoholics or drug addicts because, yet again, instead of working through the emotion, it's, I am so fearful of these feelings because I have been told by society that if I have feelings, then there's something wrong with me. So they're drug addicts or alcoholics, affects your health, right? People who feel these emotions and don't move through them tend to not exercise through their feelings. One of the best ways to release trauma is movement. And as you move, your body actually releases the stress that comes from life. This is why movement is so important, because you're not holding all of your stress here or here or here or in your stomach. It's coming out. It is a great stress reliever. And so when we don't properly navigate through our emotions because we think that emotional regulation means never feeling anything, we tend to do more harm to ourselves than we do good. So I just want to encourage you today to feel through your emotions. No one's saying they have to rule you. That's a fear. People fear. If I feel that, they're going to rule me. Ooh, that means you're out of control, babe. Your emotions shouldn't rule you, but you should be able to notice, I feel very angry right now. I'm very dissatisfied with where I am in my life right now. I'm very content. I feel hurt. I feel misled. I feel prejudged right now. I feel hopeless. And to be able to say that and go, okay, I feel hopeless. And I notice that I'm feeling hopeless. And am I really out of options? I'm not? Okay. So while I'm feeling hopeless, Tomorrow, I'm going to work on my options. That is how you navigate. That is how you re-regulate your emotions. It's not never feeling anything. All right, you guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.